This is an extension of the Lotto game that I showed you previously. This time I'm going to show you how to check the numbers automatically within the game. So just to remind you how it works at the moment, if we click the green arrow and start the game, we're asked to enter 6 Lotto numbers. So here's the first number: 12, 23, 31, we'll say 40, and 6, and 11. So this is what happens at the moment. You enter your 6 numbers here on the left, and the Lotto numbers that are drawn come out on the right. And you can check your list manually against the Lotto numbers here. What I'm going to do now is add on a bit to the code that checks these numbers for you automatically. So the first thing we need to do is we need this repeat block again to repeat 6 times. So go to Control, and we're going to repeat the following code 6 times. Check each number individually. Now, as we're going through the 6 numbers, we need to be counting up, keeping a tally of which number we're at. So we need a variable called count. So I'm going to go to variables, make a variable. I'm going to call it count. You see count is now on our game screen here. It starts at 0. Now the next thing is I need another variable to keep a tally of the number of matches that we get. So back to variables again, and that's called matches. So we'll keep a tally of the matches between our list and the Lotto numbers that turn up. And one last thing, maybe at the start of the game set everything to 0 just in case. So set the count to 0 here. There's a command for set to 0. And we need the same command again for matches. Set the matches to 0 at the start. Now we need an if statement. In other words, if there's a match, we want a certain thing to happen. So go with the Control, and it's the if then statement here. And what we want is, actually before we do that, we have to put in, of course, the count. We want to start off with, the count has been 0 at the start. So we want to, the first time around the loop here, we want to start with a count of 1. So actually go back in here first, and we're going to change the count by 1 each time. So put in change count by 1. So that means when you start at 0, the first time it goes around, it goes to 1. Then when you go around again, it changes by 1, which means it goes up to 2, etc. So that's why the command is called change. We're changing by 1 each time. We're going up by 1 each time. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to figure out if we're going to check my numbers 1 by 1 against the Lotto numbers. We're going to see if this, we're going to check number 1 first, the first number I got, which is 12 in my case. We're going to check that against the whole 6 numbers here. And the way to do that is to come down here, and so if it contains, so if Lotto contains, where's the command here? Now we can just find it. Here it is. If Lotto contains, so contains what? We can't just say 12, okay, because the number is 12 this time, but the next time we run the Lotto, it's a different number. So we have to have some way of referring to that box, no matter what's in that box, that we check that number. And the way to say that is it contains item 1 of the list. So item 1. So here we have item 1 over here. So you can put that in there as well, item 1. So if the Lotto contains item 1 of my list, which is my numbers. And again, one more thing to start out here is, of course, it's not always item 1. The next time it'll be item 2, item 3, etc. So if you put in the word count, that covers it all, because count is going up by 1 each time. So we go back to variables now, and we're in variables here, and it's count. So if you put count in there instead of 1, that means the number changes automatically each time. Now, what do you do if a match is found? So if a match is found, well, what you do then is you change the number of matches here goes up by 1. You found a match, so the number goes up by 1. So what you do then is come over here to change, change, and you go to matches. So matches started off at 0, so you change it by 1. So if you found a match, it goes up by 1 to 1. The next time you go around, you repeat this 6 times. The next time you go around, if you find another match, this goes up by 1, so it goes up to 2, etc. So the idea is by the end of your 6 checks, you check these 6 numbers one by one. So by the time you get to the 6th number, you'd have the total number of matches here. And that's basically it. That's basically the code. And maybe one other thing you could do, what we could do is just have a slight break in here. There's 2 steps. First of all, this loop here, the repeat loop, enters your 6 numbers, and straight away then it comes up with a lot of numbers that were drawn. We might like a break in there for 2 seconds for a little bit to add a little bit of excitement to our game. So you can go to control here and you can put a pause in there, wait maybe 3 seconds in between the draw and the actual, in between you putting in your numbers and the actual draw. So maybe put a wait for 3 seconds. Okay, so that should be it. I think we're ready to go. So let's run our game and see what happens. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter my 6 numbers. So my first number is 2. My next number is 32. My next number is 41. My next number is 30. My next number is 10. And my next number is 7. Okay, so there's my 6 numbers. It waits 3 seconds, and now it's going to do the draw. So you see the draw over here. Okay, it's got the number 22 twice, but we'll fix that later. That will show you how to get each number, make sure each number is different. But the main thing here at the moment is that if you check your numbers here, how many matches have we got? If you look here, there seems to be 1 match. We went around 6 times and we got 1 match. Which number is matching? Let's have a quick check to make sure it's all working. So 2, 32. So 2 is the one that matches, the number 2. So we only got 1 number out of 6 that time. And that's it. That's how the Lotto game works.